Detroit.
Well, it's happened again. Another child enjoying the summer becomes a victim of gun violence. This time, a toddler is hit by a stray bullet. Fox 2's Lauren Edwards has the latest on a new police plan to combat the violence.
Your kid's room is your house. I'm pretty sure they're keeping weapons in the room.
This was Detroit Police Chief Todd Bettison Friday, the 4th of July, at Christ the Messiah Church, appealing to parents and guardians to be more involved in kids' lives.
Go through their phone, look at their social media page, get involved. Uncles, aunts, everyone.
That's right.
Know what your kids, your nephews, your nieces, know what they're into.
Bettison put out the call after a 16-year-old shot an officer in the hand on Chester Street and Neff Avenue last week. He says officers on the scene shot back, fatally wounding him. One suspect was detained, another ran away. Then the holiday weekend saw more violence. Most recently, a 2-year-old was shot while watching the fireworks with family on Marion Street near Van Dyke Road. He says a fight broke out nearby and a shot went off. A stray bullet struck the little boy. He's expected to be okay. 2 juveniles were detained.
Appalled by it, upset by it, and as a result, this department will definitely be stepping up our efforts tremendously when it comes to curfew violations. Parents still have the responsibility to ensure that they know where their children are and that they are supervised.
Chief Bettison is expected to speak any moment now about the increase in violence, but also about enforcing curfew. Reporting here in downtown Detroit, Lauren Edwards, Fox 2 News.
And we're learning new information this week about a man who tried to rob a Southfield bank with a hatchet last week. Southfield Police giving us an update on the case today. The suspect is a 55-year-old man. His name is Blake Herring from Dearborn Heights. Police say they spotted him on surveillance video at Meyer buying a hatchet and taking practice swings on Tuesday morning, just a few hours before the robbery at the PNC Bank on Northwestern Highway. Now, what made this case even more unusual was the fact that Southfield Police had another call that same day, also involving a hatchet, and the descriptions of the suspects sounded very similar at first.
What are the odds of 2 individuals wielding hatchets within 3 minutes of each other, both wearing black clothing, both driving gray vehicles? So Southfield officers began immediately tracking the suspect who committed the assault at the apartment building, because that crime occurred first. So when the bank robbery call came, we associated it as one and the same. So that day, we were able to track down that suspect through surveillance, did arrest him in the city of Detroit. Interesting, he admitted to committing the assault at the apartment, but denied any type of association with the bank robbery, which prompted our detectives to now look even deeper into the bank robbery suspect. We were able to see the differences in build, differences in axe or hatchet, because the one that the suspect for the apartment building used was all black, and the one that this suspect used was, as you see, black and orange. So really good detective work.
Herring is charged with bank robbery and assault with intent to murder since a bank employee was hit over the head with the hatchet. He's due back in court July 17th. Well, hundreds of medical workers at McLaren-Macomb walked off the job this morning and straight to the picket line. This is part of a planned 3-day strike by the OPEIU Local 40. Fox 2's Erica Francis takes a look at the issues.
A lot of action outside of McLaren-Macomb. This is where you can see a lot of workers. They are on strike. We're talking nearly 700 nurses and their support staff. A lot of honks, a lot of traffic out here in support of these employees. This all started at 7 o'clock this morning. This is just the start of a 3-day strike. OPEIU Local 40, the union representing the workers, alleges that the hospital does not maintain safe staffing levels. The hospital is also accused of paying support staff low wages, a move that makes it difficult to retain qualified workers. A hospital spokesperson said in a statement that replacement staff was brought in during the strike to maintain patient care. The hospital had to commit to paying the replacement nurses for a minimum of 5 days, leaving the hospital with no other option than to inform the strikers that they are prohibited from returning to work until 7 a.m. Sunday, July the 12th. I do want to pull up part of McLaren-McComb's statement here. It reads in part, quote, "A strike, though incredibly unfortunate, is a contingency the hospital has prepared for. While the hospital would prefer to settle negotiations and reach agreement on a new collective bargaining agreement, the union has demonstrated no willingness to discuss reasonable and sustainable terms. The hospital alleges that it has presented an offer that includes a wage increase that creates a market-leading compensation package, nationally benchmarked staffing ratios, and qualified benefits." We spoke with the president of the union, who says it's still not enough. Here's more.
The hospital in the past year and 2 years for the service group have committed many unfair labor practices. This is a strike for the nurses for staffing. We have a staffing matrix that they violate regularly. We have a penalty pay that they want to take right out of the contract, so there's no accountability for the nurses. However, for the service group, these are the folks who draw your blood. They register you when you come into the hospital, and they sit with you when you're not safe to be alone. And these people are making poverty wages. Some of them qualify for Medicaid or for SNAP benefits. You shouldn't have to work 3 jobs to make ends meet.
Again, all of this happening outside of McLaren-McComb Hospital. Nearly 700 workers out here striking, hoping for better pay and safer staffing levels. If you are watching this and perhaps you have an appointment scheduled or some sort of procedure, the hospital tells us that everything is going on as normal. If you have any questions, you can always call your provider. In Mount Clemens, Erica Francis, Fox 2 News.
Well, investigators are looking into the cause of a deadly house explosion on Detroit's east side. A house on McCormick near Morose blew up around 4 o'clock Saturday afternoon. A woman in her early 40s was killed. A 46-year-old man in the house was burned, but he did survive. The house is leveled.
The roof starts shaking, everything starts shaking. I fell on the ground.
As soon as we came around the corner, I just see debris in the middle of the street. I see the house explode. I just see a lot of fire.
When I got on the scene, that middle structure it just was a ball of fire going up above the house.
Now, 2 other homes caught fire. Crews are working to clean up the mess. I believe we do have our Charlie Langton assigned to this story today. He'll bring us the absolute latest later on today in 5 and 6 o'clock hours of news. Well, the man accused of setting a Garden City massage parlor on fire is headed to trial. Ali Al-Shamiri was bound over today on all charges, including 2 counts of arson and 2 counts of assault with intent to murder. It all stems from a fire back in April at Acura Care Massage and Spa. Investigators say Al-Shamiri went to the business just before closing and allegedly made an unreasonable request that was denied by staff. He then allegedly began breaking items, took the victims' phones, locked them in a laundry room, and set the building on fire. The employees were injured, but they survived. The trial is expected to begin in 3rd Circuit Court next week. Well, the Oakland County Sheriff's Office searching for a driver wanted in connection with a deadly hit and run in Pontiac. On Friday night, a 31-year-old man was riding his bike on Baldwin Road at Rondell when he was hit by a black Jeep Grand Cherokee. Now, the driver just kept on going. Police say someone followed the Cherokee onto a side street where the driver and the passenger got out and took off in a silver Chevy Malibu. There's a $2,000 reward leading to an arrest in the case. Anyone with any information is asked to call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-SPEAK-UP. Well, Central Texas bracing for more rain as the search continues for the missing. A live look at the rescue efforts when we come back. Welcome back to Fox 2 Detroit Live. You're looking live at the Detroit River across the way there, and in the back there, you can see some foliage across the way in downtown Detroit. That is our skyline, our beautiful skyline. All right, well, we are following the tragedy in central Texas. Flash floods killing more than 80 people. Search crews are still working to find the missing. Fox's Kennedy Hayes is live in Kerrville, Texas. Kennedy, I can't imagine how things are looking out there. I saw a video online of how things looked just the day before this flood came through, and now we are dealing with this. How's it going out there?
Bree, it is just heartbreaking. Officials say now 89 people have died. That includes 27 children, and some are still missing. Now, I want to give you an idea about how powerful the Guadalupe River is. I'll step aside so you can see the area where I'm in now. You can see several tree limbs. Giant tree limbs have been toppled over, not only on the banks of the river here, but also several feet upshore. So that just shows you how powerful these floodwaters can be. And here's a look at the Guadalupe River's path where we are now. This map shows among the missing campers and counselors from Camp Mystic, which is an all-girls Christian summer camp. They say at least 27 people there died in the floodwaters. And Camp Mystic is near downtown Hunt, the area that saw the worst of it. By Friday evening, water levels rose nearly 30 feet. Nearby, Kerrville also saw a dramatic surge with floodwaters topping 24 feet in some areas. And crews are using helicopters, boats, and drones searching for those who are still missing. Governor Abbott has issued a state disaster declaration in over a dozen counties. President Trump is also offering help, approving federal disaster assistance. And the flood threat is still high. Forecasters are expecting more rain through Tuesday, but the community is rallying. Area churches are packing food and water for families. And one woman I spoke to told me her daughter works at one of the camps, made it out safely. She was also telling me about her own time as a camp director and how now she's here to help.
They are closed, but it is located between Camp Mystic and Camp La Junta. So we would have been directly in the path of everything that happened. That used to be our whole life. You know, we lived at the camp that I worked at, and it's just heartbreaking.
The good news is we know 850 people at least have been rescued here in Kerr County so far. And of course, that says search and rescue efforts are underway right now. Back to you.
Kennedy, thank you so much. We'll be checking in with you a little bit, quite a bit during our time here on Fox 2 Detroit Live. Stay safe out there until next time we see you. Thanks, Kennedy. All right, let's check in on our local weather here in the Metro Detroit area. It's 74 degrees and it's 1:15 is the time. Now, it was very, very hot this weekend. I couldn't step outside for 2 seconds without sweat just coming down. And I'm not really a sweaty person either. So it was just crazy.
Yeah, we've all been sweaty people over the last 17 days.
Yeah.
We've had, by the way, we've had 17 days in a row of 80 degrees or higher.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah. It's been
I'm loving it though.
It's been a long stretch. We're gonna get into some of the history behind, how that compares to previous years in just a second. But the warm weather gives us a bit of a break today, Bree, which is nice. So at 1:15, our temperatures are at 74 degrees. That is roughly 10 degrees cooler at this point than every other day leading up to today. So you're looking at 74 degrees outside right now. There is a little bit of light rain down to the south. So we are watching a couple of sprinkles into parts of Lenawee County and Monroe counties. So SkyTracker is still showing some of that lighter rain moving through areas like Dundee and Monroe, and then spots downriver. Cloudier skies impacting most of us right now, but there's some clearing on the way, and the visible satellite does a great job showing where that clearing is. It's on the western side of the state. So right underneath all that white is the state of Michigan. This is western Michigan right here. So this is the state, and you can see it, most of it in the clouds, but some of it in that sunshine. So there's your sunshine out there. Will we get some sunshine today? I think perhaps late in the day, and if it gets here quick enough, we might get up to that 80-degree stretch, and if we do, that keeps our run going. We'll talk about that run in a second. Here's Central Texas. Unfortunately, more rain for them. Just talked to Fox Weather about how terrible that situation was down there, where they picked up over a foot of rain in many spots, and then that river, of course, jumping like 20 feet, causing that extreme flooding event, that excessive flooding. Closer to home, we got some rain showers in the state of Ohio, but maybe a peak of sunshine here or there in spots near Pontiac, Detroit, and Windsor. But a lot of those temperatures are still in the 60s. You take a look at the heat index, and the heat index has been like 95 over the last 2 weeks. But today, not so much. Today it's going to be the upper 70s, maybe briefly touching 80 degrees. 17 days in a row of 80 degrees. Last year, the most we had was 11. The year before that, the most we had was 12. Back in 2022, we had 30 days of 80 degrees or more in a row. So that's, if we're trying to, like, you know, get close to history, we need to get closer to 30. But if we don't get it today, we're going to fall off, and we'll have to reset that counter. If we do get it today, I think we're going to get close to that 30-degree number because we have 10 more days in a row where we're going to see 85 or higher, and that starts tomorrow on Tuesday. So we'll go 85, 85, 86, and then some 88s on Friday and Saturday. By the way, humidity returns and thunderstorms return on Wednesday as those scattered thunderstorms pop back into the forecast.
You know, I really feel like this isn't typical July weather, especially for the beginning of July. We're supposed to be experiencing sunshine and rainbows every single day. Like, what's happening?
Sunshine and rainbows
Yes.
every day. Oh,
Yes.
So normally in July, we see high temperatures like 83.
Yes.
Most of July is like 83 to 84, if you want to put it. Like, our hottest stretch of the year typically is the last 2 weeks of July, maybe the first couple of days of August. But the last 2 weeks of July are usually our hottest. We have been running above average. Rainfall is slightly above average as well. So it has been hot, it has been muggy, and it has been a bit wet.
Yeah, it's been everything, honestly.
Yeah.
But it looks like it's getting better, so that's good. All right, Derek, we'll check in with you in about 20 minutes.
Sounds good.
All right, coming up, a waitress sparks backlash after revealing her tip-boosting trick online. We'll tell you what she admitted to doing and why it's stirring debate. The story might surprise you. Fox 2 Detroit Live is back right after the break.